Welcome. In this video I wanted to give a quick update on Reda and some usability of her and how she could be used to counter such things as Artamiel, but mainly to counter such things as May and especially Reaper. Reaper being the main one, which I think people are having the most problems with. So, as we took a look at in her quick look video that I did, we went over her skills and her passives and some of the stuff I was curious about, didn't have her to test, so I was able to pull her and I was able to do some tests with her, both in air battles against my defenses plus against other enemy defenses to see how she works. And she performed very well. She performed very well, kind of as expected, and actually exceeded expectations with her. So this is kind of puts my favorability rating of her a little bit higher, which means you're probably going to see her stick around in the meta for a while because she is going to be a very good counter now to Reaper. And that was the only thing that I was concerned about, is how good of a counter she would be. Now, the thing that I did notice is because she's still kind of squishy, you're going to need to protect her against Artamiels. You're not going to probably want to run her in the back line still because of the Reapers that are going to be on defense, but you're going to be able to use her pretty well. So making her fast should be something you want to aim for, but you don't necessarily need to go turn 1 because there's still a lot of Trents out there that can provide immunity or can cleanse off buffs if you don't CC them, which you won't be able to do for the first 2 turns anyway. So mainly you want to use your first couple of turns just to get the HP of everybody down, so when the Trent uses its special skill, nobody gets immunity. But let's go over how she counters May and how she counters Reaper. So we'll go over and we'll look. Now, she has a passive, and the passive applies the nature effects Frostbite for 2 turns or Freeze for 2 turns if they already have Frostbite. Now, this also makes it so her debuffs never miss if their level or grade is lower than hers, and it excludes bosses and enemies with immunity. So if they have immunity, or if they have immunity to debuffs, like in this case with Trent, then this won't happen. But otherwise, the debuffs never miss, as if the enemy's grade or level is lower. So the grade, I'm still not quite sure what that means, if it actually means their Transcendence level is lower, 2, or if it just means, if they're 5 stars and not 6, I don't know, or if it means epic and not legendary, I'm not sure. So that's something I'd like clarified, but anyway, if their level is lower, that really only applies to other stuff. But anyway, the debuffs never miss, so that can be helpful if you're attacking, I guess, lower ranked stuff. But the main thing is just going to be the passive that does apply these effects. The reason that this is good is because this applies effects to things like it will apply the Frostbite and Freeze effects, Freeze if they're already Frostbite, to Mays and to Reapers. And the reason this is good is because this means you can apply a debuff to a May without having to attack it and risk getting an evasion. Also, it applies the debuff to a Reaper without having to hit it to land a debuff. So normally if you try to attack a Reaper with a debuff, it just evades the damage, which means it evades the debuff. But in this case, it's a passive, which means it doesn't actually do damage, so it can apply to a Reaper, which means you can Frostbite a Reaper right at the beginning. On your first turn you can Frostbite it, and then on your second turn you can freeze it for 2 turns. This is nice. This means you can lock down a Reaper with never even having to hit it. The same thing goes for the May. You can lock it down, which is good, which means it can't bump its skill 2. So the first passive is good in those respects already, but it does get better. When you're doing this, her second passive now, the attacks never miss when attacking enemies afflicted with Frostbite or Freeze. This is the important part of this one. Now, the rest of it, where you gain soul effects for increasing attack and such, those are nice, but this is the part that really makes her more exceptional as a counter to the Mays and the Reapers, especially the Reapers, which I think is the problem that most people have, as there's almost no counters to them except for essentially another Reaper. So what does this do? What does this mean? Well, after testing it, if you land the Frostbite or Freeze effect from her passive on a Reaper, which, you know, you should be landing because most of them aren't going to have good resistance anyway, you land this effect on them. So let's say you land Frostbite on the Reaper on, you know, when you get a turn, because as soon as you get a turn, the passive goes off. So let's say you land Frostbite on it. This means now all of your attacks will land as damage to that Reaper. The Reaper's passive does not take priority over Reda's passive, meaning that she will land damage on the Reapers, and the Reaper will not evade her attacks. That's the important part. See, I wasn't sure before, when she came out, before she was in the game and before I was able to test her, if which passive would basically take priority. But after testing her, Reda's passive takes priority over the Reaper passive, meaning that she will land damage hitting skills, which means she can land additional debuffs too, because she is landing the attacks. That is important and very good, because this means that she can use her other skills to land damage. The third one now, the third passive, she gains the soul effects to increase her crit rate whenever the freeze or frostbite is removed and the debuffs are nullified. That one doesn't come into play so much. It's mostly the first two passives working kind of together that make her really good against Reaper. So this is why it's important to have that accuracy on her to make sure you can land those debuffs, because if you can't land the debuffs and you can't land those frostbite or freeze effects, you're not going to have a good time with the Reapers still. But if you can land them and you do get those debuffs landed, then you can start doing, say you land, passive 1 lands frostbite on everything, or at least a Reaper. You can now use skill 2, which will inflict the freeze effect for 2 turns at level 1, freeze effect for 2 turns on the Reaper. It'll do damage and it'll land a freeze effect, which now means the Reaper is useless for 2 turns. Now, if you level this all the way up to the max at 6, this is a 3 turn of freeze. This means you can hard CC them for 3 turns. The other thing too, because of the passive 1 and 2, the way they work together, and that she never misses, this means that May will never evade an attack either. And because May doesn't evade attacks, she will never land her confused state on you either. As long as she has a debuff, you will always land your attacks on the May, so therefore you don't have to worry about your Reda getting confused and attacking your own team if you're fighting a May. So this is good. This is the skill that I would level up to the max first. If you're going to do one, this is the one to do. The 3 turn freeze effect is crazy good. It's 3 turns of CC against an entire team, plus 3 turns of frostbite, which is soul damage to the entire team. And if they're frozen, the frostbite will tick off and do tons of damage. The ultimate skill now, which does soul damage if they're frozen, this is good because if you use the special skill to freeze them for 3 turns, then you can just wait until your next turn and then use this skill to do soul damage. And this skill would be the next one that I would level up, because this is soul damage equal to 44% of their max HP. This is very good, because if you do this right at the beginning of a fight, you'll take them down to around half HP. And then if you do it again, then this is also again around half HP. The only provision is that you need to have her with high attack, meaning build her with attack on both the primary and offhand and give her a way attack buff so that her attack is as high as possible, meaning that she'll do the most damage that you possibly can. So that way she'll do a lot of damage, even to tanky type Elunes, because it's soul damage and it doesn't care if they're tanky to physical or magic damage. She's physical anyway, but it doesn't matter because it's soul damage, it'll go straight through. The same thing as her special skill for the freeze. But the main thing that I wanted to point out after testing and playing around with her and testing her in air battles and stuff is that these 2 passives work ideally to counter Reapers. and also to counter Maze or other stuff too, which means she's also still good against Artamiels because she can freeze an Artamiel for 3 turns, meaning you don't have to worry about the Artamiel hitting you anymore because it'll be frozen, which means it can't counterattack, which is nice. Most Artamiels only use skill 1 anyway, so even if they're not frozen and they have the frostbite, every time they get a turn they're going to take soul damage, so that's just more damage they take too, so that ignores defenses. So something to keep in mind about her, and yes, after testing it I can confirm it, this will go through a Reaper passive, and because of that this will also go through a Reaper passive too, as long as your passive 1 is able to land the debuff. So that's the priority first. The passive 1 has to land the frostbite on the Reaper. Once it does, the Reaper is treated like any other enemy and your attacks never miss, and now you can start CCing it, you can start doing damage to it, you can do whatever you want, making her a very viable counter to Reapers, meaning you can kill them and CC them without any problems and without having to bring a Reaper of your own and hoping that you can instant kill them before they instant kill you. Since Reapers were very limited in single target on what they can do and bring to a battle, and all they did was basically instant kill things, this unit being able to bring CCs with it and other stuff to control the battlefield makes it a more versatile type option, because now it can even control those pesky Reapers. This is also going to be good in things like UGD Arena, where you still have people using Reapers on defense with just like 2 other Elunes or something, and they bring a Reaper just to mess up your team. So if you bring Reda in there, you can use this to really mess up the Reaper, because you'll just be able to constantly CC the Reaper, and that team should lose pretty quickly. She'll also be good for defense too, just because of that. But like I said, she's squishy, so you're going to need to protect her. The best way to protect her is with a Mei, because it just redirects all damage to the Mei. So if you bring a Mei with something to heal it or to keep it buffed up, you're going to be good, you're going to be okay, and you should be doing fine, because the Mei will take all the damage instead of the Reda, and the Reda can just be free to AoE its heart out and freeze everything on the battlefield. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Just wanted to give a quick kind of add-on or information into it after getting her and testing her as an update to the quick look that I did, and wanted to let everybody know what she's capable of and how the skills actually work in the game, what they do, how they work, what happens when you use them, what passives are priority. So after testing, this is what I was able to find out. This is what I was able to test. Looks good, better than kind of I expected or was hoping for. So glad to see it. Glad to see that that they did put in a good counter to Reapers, and it's a unit right now that if you get it on the banner, any legendary summons are guaranteed to be her on the banner. So if you've got some rubies, I used all mine trying to get her. So if you got some rubies saved up, use them, try to get her. If you get her, good. If you don't, you can still get her other ways too. Even if you don't have the rubies to spend, another way to get her is going to be the cheer. You can do the cheer, because the cheer, whenever you're doing this, let's see, what is it? The quest rewards that you get here, you're going to get the soul stones for her. So that's 80 and 80, 160, 240, 320, 400, 480. So you can get 480 on the first week of this going through. You need to do this for the first week or so. So this is 42 times 3 a day. So that's like 2 weeks worth of doing this, I think. So you do this for like 2 weeks and you'll get one. When you summon it from the soul stones here, you only need to do it the 36 times, which is 12 times anyway. So if you can do that, then that's 12 of the dailies here or something to do, or that you do here. So, well, I've done 6 so far. What was it again? 6. So you got to do it 42 times, 6 a day, 36 days, so that's 6 days, so a week's worth, and you've got so 6 days, just less than a week, and everybody can have one. So if you don't have one after a week, then you haven't been doing this. So it doesn't matter where you rank in the cheer race. This is just something from doing the daily quest. Go do the daily quest. They're easy to do. Everybody should be able to do them. Go do them. You have no excuse not to have one of these during this event. You should at least get this one here, which is going to be summoned as a 3-star, which takes more, resources to build up to a 6. But so what? Takes 48 debuffer seeds, but still, get it. It's worth it. Plus, come on, the 20 keystones, 200 rubies. Go for it. This thing is great. The rewards, 75 there, 3 keys there, one of these here, which is the 10+1 summon, so that might give you another one too at 5 stars. 1,000 Elunes light, that's really nice. 600 more enhanced stones. Do this. The rewards are insane from this, and this is just 8 days or so worth of doing stuff. So go do it. Anyway. Go do this. First place person here is going to get a nice little 6-star Sophia. Lucky them. But it doesn't matter where you place in here. Something else to note too for people who don't know, just kind of off topic a little bit, but if you don't know, whenever you're doing these ranks and whenever you're going for these, put 1 cheer into both. Just put 1 cheer on both, because when you're doing these, this is the reward. So whichever one wins, this is the reward that you're going to get times 3. So if this one wins, which it looks like it will, because that's where most people seem to be dumping everything in, you're going to get this times 3, which means you're going to get 45 of the T orbs, you're going to get 9 of these, and you're going to get 3 of the debuffer weapons. Okay, so you're going to get 3 of these when this one wins. But second place, which there's only 2 things using, is this. Second place gets twice the rewards. So what does that mean? Here you're going to get 10 of these, 6 of these, and 2 of these, even though it loses. So do it, because you get both. As long as you have 1 cheer on them, you're going to get the rewards. Whichever one is first, it doesn't matter how much you cheer. If you have 1, you're getting twice of one of them, 3 times of the other one. So do 1 cheer. Everybody should be able to do 1 cheer. So do 1 cheer. Do this one. You get 3 times 1, twice of this. So 1 cheer into here, which I've already done. You can see 1 cheer, 1 cheer. I'm gonna get 10, 6, 2 on that one, and on this one I'm gonna get 45, 9, 3. Great. That right there is great. That's what I'm going to get. So whenever this finishes in like 8 days or 7 days from now or whatever, or 5 days, 5 hours, when it finishes, that's the rewards I'm going to get. I already know, because first place is 3 times the rewards. Runner up, which is the only other thing here, is going to get 2 times the rewards. The only difference is the rank things. That's the additional reward. So you don't have to go for the rank rewards here. They're nice, they're good if you can do this, or you spend a lot of time farming or something, then yeah, you can go for these and try to get the the summons and the extra rubies and stuff. Those are nice to get. I mean, they're good. But if you just do 1, you're getting 20. So if I only do 1 on each, I'm going to get 20 on each. So I'm going to get 20 from whichever one wins, which is going to be the Reda. So if I only do 1 into her, I still get 20. If I actually place decent, I might get 40, 60, 100, whatever. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm not going for these. They would be nice. I mean, like this one, 2nd and 3rd place, 3 6-star legendaries. Oh yeah, that'd be nice. This one, 3 5-star legendaries. Very nice. This one, 2 5-star legendaries. This one, 1 5-star legendary. Yeah, they would be great to get. Not too concerned about these rewards. They'd be nice, but I'm mostly looking at the rewards here, because these are the ones that will affect me immediately and that are going to be better. So do these. Do your cheers, get your rewards, do your quests, get your free Reda, because 6 days of doing all 6 quests, you'll have 36 done. You'll have a Reda. You summon your Reda, you got a Reda. Everybody should have one. And it doesn't really matter how transcendent she is. You protect her with something, you got it, you can do well. So do those things and you'll get one. So shouldn't be any excuses for people to not have one of these. You do your quest, you can get up. The quests are quick and easy, the cheer quest. If you don't have time to do all the dailies and the cheer quests, do the cheer quests. Don't worry about the dailies. Do the cheer quests just so you can get her. And these are 6. Like this one, play a boss battle 3 times. Go and do like stage 1 if you don't have time. Do stage 1 and just like nuke it in 1 or 2 hits. Air battle, UGD Arena, that's fine. You only have to do it twice. Enter into one, lose it, quit out. Enter into one, lose it, quit out. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. You don't have to win, you just have to do it. Do it. Upgrade an Elune. That's easy. Go summon some friend summons. You gotta do 5 of them. Summon 5 of the friend summons and then feed it all at one time into one Elune. Doesn't matter. There, you're done. Fuse Elunes. You can do that. 2 fusions should be easy enough to do. Go get some uncommons or something and fuse them. Doesn't really matter. Just level them up real quick and fuse them. Do it twice. Should take you just a few minutes of doing a daily or something. Or you can summon them with friends and then level them up from themselves, and that does upgrade and fusion. The scrap gear, 5 of it, you should be able to get those from just doing a couple of stages of adventure, or maybe one of the daily quests and stuff in there from the NPCs. Great. Enhanced gear, start it and let it go. You should be able to do it. These things are easy, so even if you're just starting the game, these type of quests are pretty easy to do, so go do them. You'll get that Reda, and she's going to be really good, and she'll be able to counter those Reapers that you face, and it'll give you a much easier task of dealing with them. So then you don't have to worry about it, and you'll be able to have a nice OP type Elune. So good luck to everybody. I hope this was helpful. Hope it was able to give you some good information into Reda and how to use her to counter the Reapers, and also Artamiel's maze and anything else. So good luck, have fun, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll answer them as soon as I can.